Hey guys, it's Barkley Davies with Barkley Davies Fishing. So I'm going to give you a tour of my RT 188 2014 with a 115 Optimax on it and a Garmin Force trolling motor. So let's check it out. So this will be a tour of the Ranger RT 188 2014. I bought it earlier this year and I made a bunch of upgrades on it. So let's start with the navigation lights. I replaced the traditional navigation light with these LED navigation lights. I'm gonna have to re-glue this, but you get the gist. They work really well. They're very bright, and it also doesn't get in the way of my graphs that I had to mount right next to the navigation light hole. So we'll start with the Garmin Force trolling motor. It could be 24 volt or 36. I prefer 24 because this is a 18.5 foot aluminum boat, and on the highest setting it almost throws me out. So we got the Hydro Wave, and then I have the Panoptix, but there's this new mount by Summit on eBay that I can do perspective view with, and this thing is killer. I mean, the first week I mounted it, I got second place in a tournament out on Lake Havasu just because of this right here. I was able to find the grass veins and where they came out to different points, and I caught a 7-pounder off one of the points that I found with the perspective view that I would not have found with side view or down view or traditional sonar. So that's the Garmin Force. It's a really good trolling motor. I upgraded from the Tarova on my tracker I had before. And we'll move to the graphs. I have these two graphs on a Dek-It mount, dual mount. The Garmin 9.3 SV, this is the original. And then this one is the 9.3 SV UHD. I put this on here to run with the GT54 ultra high def transducer that comes with the Garmin Force. And the reason why I left just a regular 9.3 SV is I use this one for my Panoptix only, and then this one I use for side view, down view, traditional sonar. Normally I go traditional sonar and a map. Works really well. With the perspective view, I'm able to plot waypoints as I see them out in front of me, and then they correlate with the map. And I use the 2D sonar to kind of just figure out what the density of the bottom is that I'm fishing. I have a Hydro Wave. I use it occasionally. It's pretty good. Normally when I do use it, I use the ultra finesse setting. We're out here in San Diego, mainly finesse fishing. A lot of drop shot, Nico rig, thin Senko. Then moving on to the trolling motor pedal. There's a Cull foot deal I put on there. It's really good. You know, if I want to go barefoot, I can without burning my foot off. And then on top of here, you have like your auto go, you have your spot lock, and then you have your heading setting if you want to go to a specific spot. That brings me on to the deck. Let me pop up here real quick and get a little better use. So the deck, I have the rod saver straps installed, boat buckle, whatever you want to call them. You know, got them on each side. They're really good. Most people put them on their boats now. Here's a view real quick of the Garmin's. All right, so that brings me to the rod locker box. Regular, actually it's not a rod locker box, it's just a regular storage box because Ranger, they have a weird configuration for this year where and you know, you see it on a lot of forums, guys complaining about the rod locker being in the center and not on the side. I'm kind of indifferent to it. If I need to keep a bunch of rods, it's kind of a pain. I can get about 12 to 14, but we'll talk about that in a second. I have these little hanger deals that I don't really use them on this side. I like to keep my terminal tackle in here, as well as a spare prop, my tournament gear, as far as a weigh bag, a balance beam, catch and release, fizz. If you don't know how to use one of those, you really should, especially if you're catching fish deep. And then one of these Brecknell scales, very good scale. I've used all of them. I've used the Rapala. I've used the that yellow one that they've come out with. It's okay. I prefer this one because it has that Accu Cull clip on it. Let's see if I can find that real quick. This guy right here is a game changer. You just don't have to hook them through the gills. They're not going to go anywhere when they're flipping around. Throw a cushion in here. Like I said, spare prop. That's that box. Then we'll go over here to this box. Same thing. I have these lure bag hangers. I use these a little more. I keep mainly my soft plastics in this box. And I also keep a bag with my cold weather gear, gloves, beanie, extra pair of socks, bib, overalls, the whole jacket, and then a sweater, just in case it, you know, cold front blows in and I forget it at home. So that's that. And then I'll open up, this is the rod locker most people have problems with on these boats. And like I said, I can get 12 to 14 rods in here. It's a tight squeeze, but not too bad. And what I do like though are these channels here on the side that I put. I can fit 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 3,700 boxes in these side channels right here. And they hold a lot of tackle. I try not to load my boat down anymore. I used to do that all the time, but I just try to be real specific for the lake I'm going to fish. And then again, I'm forgetting the name of these, but these hangers are great. I use these in tournaments if I'm on a specific color of worm or soft plastic. I hang these bags here underneath the lid so I have quick access to them. And I don't have to go moving rods around and digging through these storage lockers. And then I have GoPro mount, might move that. That brings me to the console where I have 9.3 SV on a dual Bass Boat Technologies mount. And then I just installed this iPad RAM mount. Hopefully it works well in the sun and whatnot. I'm kind of apprehensive about that. I have a smaller RAM mount down here for the iPhone, and then I have a 12-volt cigarette adapter socket, but I put the dual USB in there. And you know, run my iPad and iPhone, whatnot, off of that because most things USB port powered now. That's nothing too fancy on the dash. One thing I did do is I put a cleat right here and one of these Airhead, got it on Amazon, bungee ropes. I could just pull up to the dock and tie off real quick. I don't have to go and mess around on the front cleat or the back cleat. Makes it real easy. Keep my life jacket, auto mustad life jacket. It's a little faded, it used to be a lot darker red. Keep it right here in this little slot right here. Gone down the highway 70, 85 miles, 75, 80 miles an hour, no problem, doesn't go anywhere. Keeping the ropes right here, and marker buoys, don't use them very often, but the guy before me kept them in there, so I thought it's not a bad idea. Then I have this middle center console deal that I keep snacks in and whatnot. And in the center console, I keep the snacks, wallet, keys, whatnot. And I keep these are olive oil bottles that I filled up with the Bang that you get in the sprayer bottle, not the aerosol. And I've taken it and dumped it in there, and they work very well. They don't clog. You probably noticed that with the aerosol, they clog. And then they're kind of worthless after that. So this takes care of that. And I'll have the crawfish flavor or scent, and then the shad, or actually I think this combo, the shad and crawfish. Then here I have these buoy markers. The guy before me did this little stand, the buoy markers with a lure retriever on there. This one you put around your line and slide down it. It's heavier than this one. This one has the little chain that kind of wraps around your treble hooks, and you can just rip them out. And then keep a little waterproof radio right here so I can listen to my podcasts. Have another lure retriever right here on the co-angler side, as well as a net. The Dek-It tool holder as well, with this goofy lure I found. My new good luck charm. These Rangers come with a cup holder. Don't use it very often, but nice to have. And then under here, I kind of clean this all out, and I have the co-angler life jacket, spare life jacket, the navigation light for the back. Now here's something cool. The guy before me put these IKEA trays in, and I keep my remote to the Force, some Sharpies, screen cleaners, spare headlamp, multi-tool, courtesy of the U.S. Army, and then maps, and some spare zip ties, and always carry a spare iPhone charger. Spare set of sunglasses, always. And then a little lock box that has my registration and manuals and whatnot for all the crazy stuff I have on this boat. Oh, and then of course one of these little urinal bottles that comes in handy for my girlfriend or me, depending on what kind of lake I'm at. If there's a bunch of people out there, you don't want to be peeing off the back of the boat in front of people. Here's the Livewell. So the guy before me mounted one of these Accu Cull mounts in it. These things are great. I mean, if you actually use them, if you actually weigh your fish and then put in the mount before you throw it in Livewell, and it correlates to the clip color. There you go. That's from my last tournament. My first fish was a 7-pounder. Got a bunch of 3s and 4, and ended up with 21.5 pounds. Was out culling 3-pounders, which is always a good thing. So there's that. Then behind the driver's seat is this box that I keep the dude wipes, sunscreen, more dude wipes, chapstick, cough drops in case I get COVID. It's not gonna help, it's a joke. Sunscreen, it's good stuff. This Trader Joe's stuff's really good. This 50 SPF, very good stuff. I try not to get it on my hands though. And if I do, I carry the defishing soap, and then antacids, and a pair of binoculars. Now, this box right here, or bag, whatever you want to call it, I have a couple of things. I carry a spare power pack USB. Don't tear me apart for, I don't know the name of it. Just a spare battery pack, you know, you charge your electronics with, and then a converter or inverter, and then one of these jumpers, battery jumpers. And this thing is, I haven't used it specifically on my boat, but I have come across guys that couldn't start their boat, and it cost me 60 bucks on Amazon, and it is a game changer. And it starts their boat right up. You just hook it up to the terminals and turn it on. And then they turn the key, and boom, fires up. I mean, that's how it's supposed to go. So I have that. And then in the back here, I just installed this NOCO, hope I'm saying it right, charging, terminal, whatever you want to call it. And then I carry tools in the back here. I'll get to that in a second, the orange boxes. And then I bought this trolling motor prop mount that I put right there. And this thing, it's pretty solid. It's not going anywhere. Holds my spare trolling motor prop, so I don't have to go digging around looking for it. And I carry a spare bilge, parts for the spare prop, the grease, spare nav light in case my LED ones don't work, real long standard and Phillips head screwdriver. These things are great, magnetic as well. And then the prop block, so you don't have to carry a piece of wood. This thing's pretty good stuff right here. And then a spare bilge pump. It was like 20 bucks on Amazon. Amazon should be paying me for this video. And in these dry boxes, a couple things. Carry first aid kit. Being former military, I'm really big on being prepared. This is one of these sportsman first aids, got everything in it. Then a trauma pack in case, stops bleeding for bullet wounds, in case something crazy happens, or somebody, I was at Lake Havasu and a lady tried to stop a wakeboard boat. She tried to stop it from slamming in the dock with her foot, and it ended up chopping off 3 of her toes. And luckily I was there with an Israeli pressure dressing to stop the bleeding, and she was able to get to the hospital. I don't know what happened to her, but I know she's missing toes now, because those were catfish food for sure. They fell to the bottom of the lake. Then in here, this other dry box, I carry that flex tape, a little siphon, gas siphon tube, and then a little tiny entrenching tool, little shovel, all courtesy of Amazon. It's pretty cool. Used that little shovel a couple times. And then the onboard charger came with the boat. I'm not too familiar with it, as well as a Minn Kota, kind of jerry rig down here, but it is a alternator, and this thing runs while I'm running down the lake. It charges all my trolling motor batteries and my cranking battery. Well, alternator charges my cranking battery, but it charges my trolling motor batteries. You get the gist of it. Let's see what else. Oh, also I carry one of these, speaking of first aid, carry one of these angler aid kits. I'm not sponsored by them, but they are really good. The customer service with this company is amazing. I mean, it has super glue, zip ties, it has everything that you wouldn't think of. Gloves, electrical tape, in case you get a hook in your hand. They have this sunscreen. I mean, they got it all. It's really, really good, well thought out. Little flashlight, there's a little multi-tool in there. You know, in case you do forget something, you know, a little Sharpie there. I could have used that the other day. I don't have it. See, they were eating the trailers on the chatterbaits. They liked it with a little black on the top of the swim bait, and I could have used that marker the other day. Probably would have weighed some more fish. But yeah, so that's about it. That's my boat. I made a bunch of upgrades. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please don't tear me apart for misnaming some of the things. But yeah, that's all I got. All right, take it easy.